Hello lads, ladies, gents, ladetts, whoever, whatever, welcome back to another video. Today's video is brought to you from the team at Cold Lamen, who just so happen to be the developers of today's game, Dad's Coming. They were kind enough to provide me with a key for the game and some bonus keys for a giveaway, but more on that giveaway at the end of this video. With this said, they did give me the go-ahead in their words to feel free to do whatever I like in regard to this video, but do keep in mind I know I will be somewhat biased since I did get this game for free and ahead of release. I will quickly note that for today's video I only played solo as that's all I was able to do. However, I do plan on playing some co-op with a friend once the online play is available, since again I did get this before launch, with the launch date being set for the 21st/22nd depending on your time zone. I just want to be as forthcoming with you as possible, so with that said, let's jump into things. Dad's Coming is a game I would say is best described as a chaotic co-op puzzle game. In the vein of titles like Overcooked, it sees you either playing solo or with a friend attempting to clean the house within a strict time limit to score as highly as possible. On paper, it's a pretty simple premise, and thanks to that narrow focus, the game does a really damn good job of getting across everything it's aiming to achieve. From the frantic running around while attempting to figure out where something goes, to the extreme satisfaction of managing to put everything away, you get pretty much everything you would want out of the experience. In order to put objects away, you'll need to navigate the house that will naturally become more and more difficult as you get to the later levels. You'll need to find these items and find their corresponding spots. Now, thankfully, the items that you need to pick up are pretty easy to notice, along with where they do need to be placed once you have found them. However, if I did have a small suggestion, from an accessibility standpoint, it would be nice to make the outlines for where items get returned to a smidge thicker, or at least have a way of standing out just a little bit more. Not much, just a smidge, because when things get hectic, it becomes a little bit hard to notice some of these. You do get outlines that flash different colors that makes life a little bit easier. However, if these lines were just a little bit thicker, it would definitely help distinguish them a little bit more. As you progress, the levels themselves bring in new challenges as well. From the cat named Jack to the power going out, there's enough variety in how the levels play out to keep you on your toes and engage with what's happening. I will say the game's physics are also pretty solid once you're used to them. Thankfully, the items you throw around don't feel super weighty in the sense that you need to overcompensate your angles on your throws, but weighty enough that you can't just mindlessly yeet stuff from across the room. It leads to a key component of the gameplay, and that's passing items between the two playable characters of Kate and Bob. In motion, it's honestly one of the most satisfying experiences I could have asked for. Throwing an item only to be caught by the other and thrown straight into place feels immaculate. It's almost like watching a great sports play happen in real time, as silly as it might seem. It's got a wonderful level of fluidity to the overall motion. However, this does not mean you can just be throwing things left and right, as you have to watch out for certain hazards. With a mix of frail objects such as the vase and windows, you can't always afford to be going 100 miles an hour without thinking. This really helps increase the actual focus you have to give the game, as it would have been way too easy to just have things be very simple, and adding in this little bit of extra challenge on top of the extremely tight timer really helps elevate the overall experience. With this said, I would have liked a couple more hazards to watch out for overall. Maybe a wet floor that you could slip on, or bad passes being punished by objects bouncing off a character's head, causing them to be dizzy for a couple of seconds. Even if there were additional modifiers, it would really help this game in its replayability, but more on this later. From a pure gameplay perspective, I don't really have anything to fault with the game at its core. The characters move at a speed that feels appropriate, and the controls for the keyboard and controller felt super responsive and pretty tight. The only thing I would like to see added is maybe the ability to throw while climbing on ladders, but I think that would eliminate a lot of the challenge. From a presentation standpoint, the game relies on two core art styles. Firstly for the menus, and then for the gameplay. The menus use a mix of comic book and manga art styles that I think work very well and have a lot of charm to them, while the core gameplay itself relies on what you would expect from most indie games, and that is pixel art. It's full of color and it's got really solid animations, so there's nothing really here that I can fault. The soundtrack also follows this. It's full of energy and it matches the overall chaos that you're seeing on screen, which is all I ever ask of an OST. I will say it very much reminds me of what I expect to hear in a Disney SNES game, or at least something along those lines, which, like the artwork, makes it pretty damn charming. I've been pretty positive so far, but it's time I get into my only real complaint about the game. And even though it's something that can potentially be fixed down the line with future updates, and depending on how things go for the team, the game's replayability is definitely lacking a little bit. If you're someone who is a solo gamer, it's a little bit of a tough sell, as outside of its initial 24 levels, there isn't really a lot left for you to do unless you're going for 3 stars on every map. It'll certainly take you some time to achieve that, but there's not really much more beyond it. I think some additional game modes or extra levels is a great starting point in solving my issue with the game here. Thankfully, the game does have local co-op, which does help alleviate some of the pain since you can also replay the game with family members or friends as you see fit. But it really does drive home the fact that this game is a co-op experience at its core. It's very playable solo, but it's definitely something where you want to play with friends. So if you tend to play on your own, this might not be for you, but if you have a sibling, friend, or just family member that wants to play, it might be worth checking out. So I decided to take the time to reach out to Satoshi from Cold Llama about the ultimate goals for Dad's Coming, such as potential DLC, game modes, additional levels, things of that nature. To which they responded, "For us, we're already really happy to have Dad's Coming launching. It's a personal achievement for us to have a game that we've made from scratch with only us three released on Steam. But to say an ultimate goal would be to make it available on all main platforms and see as many people having as fun with it as possible. We have thought about adding in new levels with different mutators and other mechanics, as well as some speedrunner features, but they're just ideas for now with nothing confirmed. Maybe if the game is a success and people want it, we can think about adding it in future updates." Overall, I really enjoyed my time with Dad's Coming. I'm definitely looking forward to playing the co-op mode with friends once the full release is out, which again is slated for the 21st of January, but it might be the 22nd depending on your time zone. There is a demo that is available now, and the game is launching at a price of $14 USD with an initial 10% discount. If you're someone who's looking for a good co-op game, you can't really go too wrong here. With this said though, if you do want a chance to win a copy of Dad's Coming, I was fortunate enough to be given 5 Steam keys to give away to you lovely viewers. In order to enter, all you need to do is follow the link in either the description or pinned comment. I'm using Gleam.io for this, and it's the first time I've ever tried something like this, so fingers crossed nothing goes wrong. The results will be drawn on release day and keys will be emailed out to you from the email that you signed up with. So best of luck. So with that, lads, ladies, gents, ladetts, whoever, whatever, it brings us to the end of another video. I hope you liked this early look at Dad's Coming. I am going to continue to keep trying smashing out these indie videos. I do have a couple other games that I am looking into potentially doing. However, they're not going to be guaranteed to be weekly. Another big shout out to Cold Llama and Satoshi. Thank you so much for the early key and the keys for the giveaway. Much love. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button. If you want to go that extra step, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you want to go that extra mile, you can support me on Patreon, Ko-fi, or YouTube memberships like these lovely people here. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. Bye.